Hi there everybody, welcome back to Prestige Auctions. It's auction aftermath time once again, and it was another absolutely magnificent auction yesterday. I can't believe how many people was in the room. Such a busy day. There was a real buzz about the place yesterday at the auction room. Lots of people in there, lots of new faces as well, lots of people getting excited and a little bit apprehensive as well about bidding for the first time. Because that really is a thing. People do get a little bit nervous, although once you've become a seasoned pro, everyone's just doing it all the time and they don't bother about it at all in the future. So, what did we sell yesterday? Well, we sold lots and lots of great items. The magnificent motorbikes at the end. We had great jewellery in the middle, and we had some lovely collectibles spaced around the room as well. And there's one or two surprises in there. So anyway, without further ado, let's have a look at what actually happened in there. And it started off at lot number one, and these ducks, I think, am I right in thinking they did about 30 quid? A bit of a shock to me. 2 ducks in Wellingtons, and it just shows you, when other auction rooms are talking about, oh, we only want antiques and collectibles and that, why do you just want antiques and collectibles when you can sell magnificent stuff like this? The elephants and all the pottery, of course, this stuff is really struggling. Capodimonte is not on fire anymore. It hasn't been for a long time now. And this Capodimonte stuff really is struggling. So if you are thinking of bringing some of that along to the auction, it's not going to make much money, I'm afraid, unless it's a particularly rare piece. Anyway, coming down here, the horses, and Dave told me that that's not Yoda, it's somebody else, which was great, with craft stuff. The cosmetics that come in the boxes quite often, they was doing fair money this week, maybe I want to say 14 or 16 pound, but think about this for a minute. You can sell this stuff online, whether it be on Vinted or on eBay or something like that, when you can split all this stuff down and get a good price for it. The box of vintage KitchenAlia, well, again, always does well, that stuff, because people love to have it for displays and things. And if you've got a vintage stall, then that's going to be great for you. As we came down here, we sold snooker cues and more boxes of assorted. Boxes of pottery weren't doing that well this week, if I'm honest. But when I'm saying they weren't doing that well, I'm talking from an auction perspective. For you, it was great because they were cheaper boxes. As we came down here, we had a few faux fair items that did a few pounds, nothing amazing. And then these things here, the glass dolphins, I want to say 8 quid, something like that. I'm sure there were. And then as we come down here, shoes, that was my surprise. That one there, the red telephone. See, I can remember a time when you used to buy these on boot sales and things. And if you could get one of them under a tenner, you were buzzing, because they was making 30, 40 and even £50 on eBay. Not anymore, I'm afraid. Things like that have died a death. So that one yesterday, £6 or £8, something like that. Not much money for it at all. As you come down here, we sold some shoes and we sold the Lego heads, and we even sold Fred. Fred was hiding down there, and he got sold as well. As we came down here, a few people bidding for the toothbrushes and what have you, and then there was a little bit of a fight on for the Manchester City scarves as well, so which was quite good. As we come down here, well, we come up to the first, what I would say, significant item. I did a couple of videos. I was so excited about this. 1977, we believe, Grimsby Town shirt, signed by players as well. Real piece of history, that, and we are led to believe that the person that bought it is going, the shirt is going back to the club, from what we understand, from what the chap said yesterday. So if it's going back to the club, it may be on display at some point at Blundell Park, which, do you know what, I can't think of a better place for it. Anyway, let the fans see it. That's the secret. Anyway, as you come down here, we sold all various items, some old suitcases and various bits and bobs. The sort of the baskets of assorted, they were just very general this week. They weren't making much money. The resident boat buyer stepped up this week and bought this kit here, or this part done one. I'm sure he's going to get that one finished off at some point soon. Box of CDs, of course, we're always CDs and DVDs are always doing well. I think there was 3 or 4 buyers in this week for dolls, so dolls was doing okay. And then we hit the Lego. Once we hit this Lego, we had a telephone bidder for the Lego. But look at this, how many drawers there are. All of this Lego that's there's quite a lot of it. And then another set of drawers full of Lego, and this was some older Lego as well, so you may got some interesting pieces in there that maybe you can't get anymore, or some of the older ones, which could be worth a few quid. there are some of them out there. That was a surprise to me. I think that did 30 odd pounds. Now, generally speaking, these don't make a lot of money, but there must have been something quite good about that one. Here's the one that when I see this item in a property a few weeks ago, I was quite excited about it. I said, love that. As soon as I see it, straight away I said, love that. That will do well in the auction. Here it is. £260 I think it did yesterday, and I can see why. It's heavy, it's got the look, everything about it is quite nice, and people see that, and of course they were bidding for it. When we come down here, one or two pieces, some of all the leather jackets sold, and the clothing this week. The boats all sold. In fact, to be honest, in terms of not sold yesterday, it wasn't bad. Lots of stuff was being picked up after the sale as well, where people was asking how much it was and could they still buy it and so on, which is something we allow here. So as we come down here, again, lots and lots of pottery. I liked that. The golf ball ice bucket. Nice piece for somebody's man cave, that one. As you come down here, the Denby did okay. The stamp pot did okay. And as we come down here, there was lots of interesting little bits. We're just doing a few pounds each, which is great. It gets them recycled, it gets them reused again. So it's not a bad thing, as long as they're selling. This is the thing. If stuff comes in from house clearance, look at that old bullet belt there. Now, this was a big thing. I remember in the 1980s, all the people that was into heavy metal was into wearing bullet belts as well. A little bit different. And that one did a 12 quid, I think, something like that. So as we came into the jewellery cabinet, we had some of the which looked to me to be copy coins that was in the cabinet, and then when you came down here, you had some medallions and things. Some of the mixed boxes did okay, and there was some good bids for certain things. We're being told, the person's telling everybody that somebody got a real bargain out of the cabinet yesterday, which is great. That's all about knowledge. If you've got a bit of knowledge about something and you spot something that's worth a few quid, then that's great. We had the watches, the jewellery. Now, not all the jewellery sold straight away, but the jewellery certainly sold afterwards. Lots of bits of the jewellery was people was coming up to us after the sale. What's the reserve? Yeah, I'll have it. So that was good. It's always good. It's good to get rid of the stuff. It's good for the people that put the stuff in. So, also as you come down here, the back wall was a bit quiet. They made a few quid. I think they made about 12 quid a tub, something like that. And there was two of them. Look. So, but again, people are recognising. Well, if they're 2-3 quid each, there's 25 in there. It's still a good saving. You're saving money. And there was some more Lego hidden at the back from the same property. Those three there. So. The telephone bidder wasn't in for those ones, so I'd probably not seen them. But so the chap that was in the room got them a bit cheaper, which is why you should always be in the room. If you're in the room, that's when you can find the bargains. As we come down the back wall, we sold all these various cuddly toys and things there, and then when we got around here, we sold all this stuff. And do you know what? It's really strange because I don't remember selling those. Maybe I'd nipped to the toilet or something at that point. Anyway. As we came down here, we had lots of art in the sale, lots of pictures and prints and things. And then down here, we had all sorts of pictures here. That was a nice one, that one did a few quid as well, from what I remember. So again, strong bidding for one or two of the pictures this week. The plain pictures, they always sell well. Things like this old radio, there's always going to be bids for stuff like this, because it hasn't even got to work. People can use it as an ornamental piece. There was a bit of interest in the clanger as well. For those of a certain age can remember the clangers. So that clanger there sold for a few pounds. There's a few hands up in the air for that one. And the salt lamp, and then we got on to more boxes of assorted records. We're doing quite well again this week. Strong bids in the room for records. And that did a few bob as well. But look at the condition. It's so clean and tidy that somebody thought, I want to say someone paid about £30 for that, if I remember rightly. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, we went down the middle of the room. We sold some of the coats and things, and then hat boxes. Some of this stuff was quite cheap. There was sort of £3 and £4 bids flying around for some of this stuff. That mirror was quite nice. I thought that might have been done a little bit better. I think it only did about £6 or £8. And again, it's modern, but it's nice. So, I'd think about what that would cost you in the shop. The little tobacco cabinet did a few quid there. The little mirror. And then we had the fire truck, which is a modern piece, but again, still interesting. And then we came down, lots of boxes of assorted, lots of house clearance boxes this week that were selling okay. The comics didn't make much money, which was a bit of a surprise, because sometimes, you know, they can do okay. As we come down here, we got onto the famous bags of teddies. They all sold again. All the bags of teddies gone. And again, as we got onto the back table, some of the back tables, some of the records, these piles of records were doing, some of them were doing 25, 30 odd pound a pop. So, you know, good money for vinyl these days. If you have got any good, do come and talk to us about it, because it does do extremely well for the right stuff. That's important, the right stuff. We had a few stitches in there, a few of the Disney character stitching, and then the Manchester United football, all those sold. And then as we came down here, we had cigarette cards, lots of collectibles were on the back tables that Lisa had set up. And I think on the whole, most of them sold. And then, of course, this started, the Warhammer stuff. Well, I was quite excited about this when it came in, because, of course, I'm an auctioneer, you know, and from a business point of view, this stuff always sells. So when you was going through all the codexes and the books, and a lot of them were sealed, the paints were doing, I think, about 50 odd quid a box. White Dwarf magazines, some Citadel spray paint, some more of those, another 50 odd pound there. Some of these boxes were doing 50 odd pound as well. I think one or two of them did even 60. So Warhammer, if you have got any Warhammer, if you've cleared a house, there's a collection in there, come and talk to us at Prestige Auctions. Warhammer always does well in the auction room. There's always lots of strong bidders for Warhammer, and because there was so much of it, there was plenty of people in, which was good to see. Also, we went into the back room then, and we started selling the pictures. Pictures did okay, and then Lisa had taken over at this point to give me a well-earned break, because I'd done sort of 800 and something lots, 850 lots, whatever it was, and she took over. So I don't really know how this stuff went. I was stood eating hot dogs at the time, which was quite good. And then all of this stuff sold in the back room. I don't know what the not solds were like. I can't really discuss it because I don't really know. I wasn't in the room at the time. So Lisa sort of took it all the way through to into the back room, and I took over somewhere around here, I believe. Those had been withdrawn. Yeah, I'd taken over by this point. We got into the fishing rods and bundles and things. All this stuff. There was fair bids in the auction room for some of this stuff. And you know, the back room is the back room. It wasn't littered with great tools this week. One or two of the bikes did well. You know, I think there was 100 odd quid for one of the cube bikes and so on. And then this stuff here, the rescue boat, that did a few bob as well. That was been in once before. Clearly the person didn't have any luck with it, so they've put it back in, give somebody else a chance. And that's all, you know, that's an interesting thing, that some of the stuff that seems to just be for buying and selling comes into the auction room, and then it sells to somebody. They can't find a buyer, but then the next person might be able to. So it all depends what circles you're in. The wood did okay. Somebody brought a load of wood in this week, and that did all right. There was bids for it, so it's good. Just shows you that somebody is looking for things all the time. You can't ever judge what they're going to want. As we come here, DVDs, videos and things, and we got onto the front tables. I thought the front tables are quite busy in terms of bids. The old Nintendo system, some of the gaming systems, the DS's, the Game Gear games and things, all this there was 30 and 40 quids for. Again, people are recognising, people know what's worth the money in this stuff. You know, I'm not going to say I do, because I really don't, but the people that understand it really do understand it. PlayStation 1 pack there, which is great. I think it's PlayStation 1, isn't it? And then various other gaming pieces. That was a box of old Spectrum games, I believe, as well, which did a few bob. And then there was stuff for Wii, and there was the world's smallest harp there. It's the kind of thing. A little mandolin. All this was selling. That was selling. The die-cast planes were selling. The laptops made 60 odd quid each. So again, for certain items in the sale yesterday, there was some proper money. You know, on other weeks that would have been quite cheap, but it just shows you how the auction runs. The auction is just, you can't ever predict it 100%. If you could, we'd all be rich. Anyway, we came down here, and after last week, I'm going to get to this stuff here. So after last week, where the appliances were just virtually given away. There was next to no money. This little White Knight dryer did £40. £40. The washer there did 80 or 85. The tellies, some of them were cheap, some of them didn't sell. Cooker did 50. Remember that one? And when you come down here, and again, then that one was cheap. You know, little fridge freeze, I think that was under a tenner from what I remember. We had another 55, 60 quid for the other washing machine when I get to it there. So again, it's just demand. You know, I think when people are coming in, if they're looking for something, if there's two of them looking for it, that price is going to go up. Even things like these wall units. Now, this is interesting because that wall unit there made, from what I remember, about 40 odd pound. Now, on a normal week, you won't be able to sell that if it was in the original colour. But because it was in that colour, it'd been painted up, made some money. So there's a tip for you. Think about it. If you're going to put it into the auction, is it better to make it look a little bit different? Wall shelving, that made a few quid. The old plan chests there, even though you can sort of see there, look, I'm sure it's showing you with the mouse, there was plenty of problems with it, but patina you might call it, but I think they did £40-50 as well. Always money for glass cabinets, display cabinets, people are after those. But the wall units, the other wall units sold as well. Dressing mirror was cheap. That chair didn't sell from what I remember, and I don't think it has still. But there was money for these. I mean, we're going back in the auction a bit. These insects in frames, they made some money in the big stick insect thing there, whatever it is. Not much money for mobility stuff this week, if at all. Not a lot of it sold. One or two of the wheelchairs did, the shower chairs didn't. But that's just becoming the norm. There's just so much of it around. The two-piece cream sofa there, £50. That was all right. That's fair money. As we come down here, the clothes stand, I think that was about a £5. That didn't sell. Oak top dining table didn't sell. I don't understand it sometimes. Anyway, as we come down here, there's more and more pieces of mobility, and then the wheelchairs they sold. Wasn't much money again, but they did sell. The Crayola table, I think that made about £5 or £6. And then the old walking frame, I think that sold. That was cheap. This Silver Cross unit, 3-in-1, you can use it for running and God knows what else. That made about £5 or £6. That was an absolute steal for somebody. That was quite surprising. I think that made 30 odd quid, that laundry basket there. And this whole thing made £3 because it was just in such poor condition. One or two of the antiques and collectibles that was in there this week were in, you know, they hadn't been very well looked after. I've been very well worn, shall we say, over the years. As we come around here, you've got more items. That was nice. Rustic pine, you know, I think that was 30 odd pounds as well. That was cheap. That was under a tenner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drawer chest there. Cheap money. The chairs, single chairs can often struggle. The commode, again, an old piece, but not in amazing condition. Even this, you know, I mean, that was a Georgian bureau, and it made, from what I remember, under 20 quid, which is crazy, really. But it just shows you, every dealer came in the room this week, they didn't want it. You know, where they wanted that, you know, it made 30 quid, something like that. So it just shows you, don't get caught up in the trap of because something's old, it's valuable. It's not always the case. That was a bit different. Somebody had turned a mannequin into a lamp. That sold. And then the pine units, these shelving units sold. Then, of course, we got onto the motorbikes. Well, in my opinion, these were cheap. There was no reserves on these Russian Cossack motorbikes. And this one here that had been done up with the sidecar as well, only made £360. Now, the vendor was quite happy because he needed to get rid of them. He's getting on a bit, and he decided he wanted them out of his way. But £360 for that, you know, online, that's got to be £1,000 of anybody's money. So will they end up on the internet? I'm not so sure. Anyway, another one there, another Cossack Russian motorbike with sidecar, done up in army colours, and again, £360 again for that one. So again, I tell you what, if I'd have had space, I think I'd have had to go at them because I think they were cheap. And then, of course, the last lot of the day was the Triumph trophy free, 850 with MOT and all the rest of it. It is just a nice bike. And we had a £1,000 reserve on this. It made £1,150. The guy has already put a comment on the internet saying it runs like a dream. He is absolutely over the moon, which I think is fantastic because then that is good for everybody. The vendors happy, the buyers happy, we're happy, we got some commission out of it. And you know what an amazing day again. Thank you for everybody that supported the auction this week and continues to support the auction on a week-to-week basis. We do our best. We work our asses off, basically, to get you a massive auction out every week. So you've got something to look forward to on a weekend. You've got some good buying and selling to do, or maybe some money to save. Once again, as always, if you do enjoy the content, then please do give it a thumbs up. And if you do get a second, hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. However, if you do want to pay something, $2.99 a month to become a member on our YouTube channel, and you will get additional content for that. Thanks ever so much for watching this short aftermath video today, and we'll see you all again very soon at the auction.